Hi, and welcome to another episode of Drafting Notes. I'm Marco.
I'm Tarek.
And on Drafting Notes, we like to try and cover one writing topic that has been itching our brains in recent times. And this week, Tarek, I want to talk about promotion and how to do it, when you should do it, that sort of thing, because it's important for authors at all stages of their career, I guess.
Yeah.
I am spurred to talk about this because I saw one of our mutual writing friends, Jordan Acosta, had posted, I think it was some thing on Blue Sky about post your first page of your book. And so I posted my first page of my 17th century Venetian thriller, which you can go and look
I saw
at
that,
right
yeah.
now
I've
on our
not
Blue
actually
Sky.
read it. I just saw it. I'm looking forward to reading that.
Yes. Things like that obviously are on the minor end of the scale in terms of promoting your work. But I think there is value in, how much value, I suppose, is there in doing things like that? If you're a writer, getting yourself noticed, I suppose it if nothing else, it adds a level of credibility to you saying that you're a writer and stuff, if you're sharing stuff like that. But also then there's the other stages of it. Once you've got a book coming out, once a book is out, there's all sorts of different stages when you should be promoting. And I think for a lot of writers, there is probably a natural reluctance to shout too much about their own
I agree
work
with
because
that.
they don't want to be seen to be only talking about themselves. And writers are not necessarily salesmen. Some are, but they want to write the book, they want it out there, but they don't really enjoy talking to people about it that much. But I think it can be valuable. And obviously you have had books out, you've won awards, and all of that stuff. How do you deal with the promotional side of it? You've got a new book coming out in April, The Midnight King. Let's give it a shout out. Bit of promotion right there. But and I've seen you posting about it on Blue Sky. Your publisher's posting about it on Blue Sky. You're getting authors are getting arcs, and they're posting about it on not just Blue Sky, obviously on other platforms as well. What do you do to promote your writing, and how important do you think it is?
So I'll be honest, I actually hate it. Like I hate that. I'm one of the people who very much does not like shouting about themselves online, and it feels weird and very kind of unlike normal life where you are trying to build this thing. But I think it is something which is important, and especially if you're a self-pubbed author, I think is even more important because
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
all
Yeah.
on you, isn't it? You are the
Yeah.
one who has to build that buzz yourself. But yeah, I think more and more, even people who are published with traditional places are expected almost, I think, to try and put out as much content as they can to try and help drive that buzz. And I think what people like about the social media stuff is that it can lead to that kind of organic growth
Yeah.
of people talking about it and getting out there. And I think ultimately it does mean you do have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and like retweet nice things that people have said with a little comment or something and it feels, I find it quite cringy, like that sort of stuff. But I know that you can get away from it. I think it is something which is important.
Yeah, it's funny though, because actually I wonder as well, it's almost, to me as a reader, this is more as a reader, I guess, I like authors that, yes, I don't begrudge them when they post about their own work. That's cool. That's interesting. Sometimes I'll find out stuff that I didn't know was coming out and things like that. But also the ones that I like to follow, like to read about, like to watch a Instagram reel about, are the ones who post a bit more than just about their books. Maybe it's humorous, maybe, but you're getting a bit more of a fuller picture. I suppose in a way it's that horrible phrase, building a brand or whatever.
I think
You're
you're
building
spot
a
on.
personality that people are happy to see and interact with, I suppose. That's
Yeah,
almost more effective than
I
just
think that's right.
spamming your book out there,
100%. Because I think what you're doing there is it is a brand that you're building about yourself, and if folk like the brand because they post funny videos or self-deprecating humor quotes or whatever, I think that makes you like them more. It makes you want to buy their book more as opposed to
Yeah.
just someone spamming 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. I think almost that turns you off. And I think I think for people out there who are thinking about going down the social media route and stuff, I think it's also important to keep in mind how much or how little impact that can have. Like, I think it is
Yes.
very important to get out there and to push yourself out there, because that's how you get picked up by like bloggers or reviewers,
Mm.
whatever, and that's how you build that buzz. But ultimately, you are shouting into a very big ocean of noise, and trying to move the needle yourself is really, really, really difficult. And
Yeah.
I,
So, I
I
mean,
worry how much you do for how little feedback sometimes.
yeah, no, that's absolutely true. And like you can have a huge, some people have huge followings on Twitter or
Hmm.
TikTok or whatever, and it doesn't actually move the needle that much,
Yeah, yeah,
even when they're doing it. So how is someone that's got, I don't know, 500 followers meant to move the needle? But
yeah.
I think this is maybe more a commentary on social media, but moving from recently Twitter to Blue Sky, I feel that the quality of interaction
Oh, it's far
at the
higher.
moment is better on Blue
Yeah,
Sky.
yeah,
Now it could go wrong very quickly, and I'm sure it will, because that's the way of these things. But it's almost like you want to use it to show who you are, show your writing, and make connections in the
yeah,
same way that you would if you were at a festival or something like that.
yeah,
And maybe some people aren't comfortable doing that, but they're more comfortable on social media or vice versa or whatever. And I don't think you actually don't need to do either, of course, but it does help to talk about your book in some way. But if you can make connections where you are making connections with authors, where you're not just talking about your book, you're talking about their book. You're saying, I love this book, I love that book, I love this show, etc. And you're getting interactions like that, then that is all a part of that, isn't it? It's all a bit
yeah,
of
yeah,
like building up
yeah.
people saying, oh, I'll follow that person because they're interested. Oh, they've got a book coming out. Oh, I'll look at that. Now, as you say, does that make a massive difference at the end of the day? Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't make a huge difference in
Psychologically, it
sales.
probably does, right?
Yeah.
Though, I mean, I think, as you said at the start, like it feels like you're doing something. Like you're not just sitting around waiting for something to happen. You're actually out there proactively doing stuff. And I think part of creating that brand of like a it's not like it's not celebrity is the wrong word, but like we all know that the celeb version of someone is not the real version of that
Yeah.
person. Like it is a kind of image of that person that they put out there for TV, film, interviews, blah blah. That's but part of that, I think, of building that version of yourself that you put out on social media. I think you do have to do stuff that's not just spamming books. So I think also talking about other people's books and giving something back to the community, I think, is an easy way to kind of build up like a
Yeah.
rapport with
And
people and to feel that you're
And
sharing other people's
absolutely,
work.
as we say this, I'm always cautious because it shouldn't be done in a cynical way, though, either.
No, no,
It has to be a
totally,
natural
yeah.
thing that you're doing. I think if you're doing it too cynically, like, "Oh, I've posted about this person, can you now post about my book?"
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
if it's
thing.
like a straight,
No.
like,
If
swap for
it's a
stuff,
transactional
yeah,
type
yeah,
thing,
yeah, no, it
that's
has
not
to
good.
be. Yeah, you have to come across as, I think, 1, you have to actually be a nice person. 2, you have to probably
Yeah.
genuinely like books and reading the books of the genre that you write in and sharing finds that you've done or books that you've read that you like. And it has to be a natural, organic, real connection that you're making out there. And I suppose that's the difficulty when you're we just talk about like creating a fake persona online, but it has to be a real fake persona. Like it has to be a real
Well, I don't think
truth
it's a
to it.
fake persona that you're really building. It's more like, yeah, obviously you're not putting everything up
No, I
there, but,
suppose you're choosing
it's
what to share about
yeah,
yourself, aren't you?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Um, in my case, I should maybe post less about my football team and more about my writing if I'm wanting to promote that. But
Well, okay,
yeah,
but so you've just put up your first page, right, of your
mhm.
work in progress. So what was the thing behind that? What made you want to post that today?
um, well, it was mainly because I saw Jordan had posted it, and I thought, well, I will. Here's a first page that I like, so I'm going to post it up there. I mean, I'm sure it won't have many interactions, but also I do want to, cynical side of the brain, if you like, or promotional side.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm trying to show that I amn't just posting about football. I am also
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
writer
yeah.
and an author, and I want to try and legitimize that, I guess. Um, so I am actively trying to post a bit more about the writing side of things to I'm not going to stop posting about the football side of things, and that is genuinely me. That's what you get if
No,
you
but that's
follow
good.
me.
I
And
think
same with my
that's good
game,
having that
posts
genuine,
about,
real
yeah,
thing.
exactly, posts about games that I'm playing and stuff like
Yeah,
that. That's going to
yeah,
be on there as well. But I also want to have more writing stuff, so that's why I did it. And I think, I guess that isn't so much promotion. That's more, as you say, building the profile of who I am and what I am as an
yeah.
author.
And what parts you want to share with other people, and
Exactly,
yeah,
yeah. And then on the promotional side of things, I suppose, I'm thinking of another friend of ours that we've had on the podcast, Dave Goodman. In the lead up to his book, he made lots of little trailers using
yep,
Canva, put them out, and that helped create a little buzz about his book.
yeah, yeah,
And I think things like that can be useful, and I think the tools that authors have these days to do their self promotion, you can argue, should they be doing it? Should it fall on the publishers more? Probably, but we are where we are. I think the tools that are available to people now are good and can be used
yep,
to quite powerful effect if you spend a bit of time with them. And it's actually quite good fun. Writers are
yeah,
by nature creative, so learning how to cut together a 30-second video or something is quite good fun of an evening. Certainly, I find it fun. Maybe I'm boring. I don't know, but there's a lot out there that you can utilize
yeah,
to help
yeah,
you push your own book. And then if you've got a publisher involved, you can maybe then work with their marketing department and say, look, I've put these videos. Do you want to tweet or whatever you call it, post about it here?
yeah,
And then the other side of it is, I guess, once you've got a publisher, see what their plans are and follow what they're saying, because they're experts at it. So, follow their
yeah,
advice as well, I think is
yeah.
very important.
I think that is completely right, and I think the communication aspect with the publisher, in terms of what are your plans, what are your plans for putting this out there? Do you have any scope for doing videos, or do you have what's your schedule for doing anything? And if it's not much, if you think if you wish it was more, then yeah, I think absolutely I don't think there's anything wrong with stepping in and doing things yourself. And I think we've chatted to self pub people, we've chatted to traditional pub people, and everyone universally says that no matter who is putting your book out there, whether it's you or someone else, why would you not
Yeah.
want to push
Yeah.
that book as much as you can? What I mean, yeah, if you've got I guess if you're someone like, Stephen King or whatever, the marketing team will be a
Yeah.
well-oiled
Your
machine, will
name, the
push out there. Your
Stephen
name
King name
alone
is
will put
enough.
exactly,
That's
yeah.
it.
But
Yeah.
for most people, I think there's nothing. I think you will always have to do some of the heavy lifting yourself, and I think you shouldn't be averse. And as you say, the tools available now are incredible. Like, you could it's you can make some great videos. There's loads of uh, royalty-free music and
Yeah.
clips that you can easily put together in software to make a
And
video about
and and you
anything.
don't if you don't feel that you can do that, you don't need to do that, but make a nice Instagram post.
Yeah,
At least, or at the very least, get an Instagram profile, post pictures of your
yeah.
book, or post an
I've
extract from your book, things like that.
That's
Little
exactly what
things
I've
like that.
seen. Essay Cosby does that quite a lot. He'll post like a couple of like a paragraph or a line or two of like, text, or like
Yeah,
I don't know, dialogue between characters, and then whether it's a book that's just come out or a book he's working on, and it always I get that kind of like sharing a little bit of your content. It's quite a nice, cheap, easy, free way to do very quickly
yeah,
bit of engagement, and and if it is a work in progress, then I often wonder, is almost a sense of like putting putting a gauntlet down to yourself and saying, "I've shared some of this work now. I need to follow it through." Like, does it almost spur you on? Like,
yeah.
you put
That's
the
true.
first page
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
Does that make you want to write that book more now that you've shared it? People know
yeah,
it's
yeah.
out there.
It's
People are going
true.
to
I
ask
think,
you
I
about
think,
it.
I think when you do, you're. I suppose it's part of that scary thing, isn't it? Especially when you're
Yeah.
not published, it's sort of like, I'm now sharing this thing that might not
Mhm.
even be ready yet in its full, it's not in its final form, if you like, but I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to hope for a good reaction. But yeah, it kind of steals you, and it does, as you say, maybe push you towards trying to finish
Yeah.
that thing or get it out there to more people, or whatever stage it's at, these sorts of things. And I think promotion doesn't end, it starts when you're writing it. you can start promoting it. And it doesn't end when the books come out. You should still, because often there's a big build up to a launch. The launch
Yeah, that
happens,
initial
and
big
then it
bit, and
suddenly
then
falls away. And
the
certainly
next
your
thing comes
publisher's
along.
interest probably falls away
Yeah,
at that
yeah,
point
yeah.
because they've got other they've got other launches to deal with. So I think on the author, it's important to then keep pushing it. A month. It's been out for a week. Here's some reactions, or here's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
reminder, and out for a
100%.
month, and things like that. Just keep doing that. And I don't think it's going back to what we were saying earlier. I don't think it's an ugly thing to promote your own work, as long as you
No,
do it in the right way, as
I
long as you're
think
not
I think
spammy about it.
exactly, yeah, and I think there's genuinely interesting ways of doing it, which kind of show behind the curtain a little bit, which I think people
Yes.
do find fascinating. Like whether it's in as you're writing it, you're sharing drafts and you're showing people how your work has changed, how the chapters changed, what the thought process went from A to B, and you as you crafted the book. I think people genuinely like seeing what you did and what you thought was great, and then the next draft you realize didn't work at all. And I think post book, I think seeing the reality of what happens to a book once it's been out and that initial big hoorahs died down, and you're sharing reviews from that people have said, or you're just chatting about the reality of what it's like a month, 2 months, 3 months down the line. How much, what's the publisher? What do they do at that point? Is their
Yeah.
focus drifted? How do you step in and how do you keep that going? I think people actually do find this stuff quite interesting because it is a lot of it. People see the polished final draft
Yes.
and they see the big launch and all this stuff, and then that kind of bubble moves on to the next book, and that they see that bubble, and it's all just these little pockets of a book's journey, and they see all the same kind of snapshot of a book's journey, but
Yeah.
the before and after I think is really interesting, and you
Yeah.
shouldn't shy away from sharing that.
I think that's right. I think there's certain parts of the writing journey, writing process, whatever you want to call it, that are often shared because they're the most polished bits of it. But
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
it's these bits behind the scenes that are almost more important, or at least as important,
I think so.
if you
Yeah,
are actually wanting to get involved and do that yourself. So, and in a way, I'm going to wrap up now. Hopefully, this sort of thing is helpful to people as well. Just
yeah,
to talk
yeah,
about
yeah,
this
yeah.
now. By all means, give us your ideas for self promotion in comments down below. That would be really good to know as well, because we're not experts in any way
No,
about this, but we just wanted to chat about it and sort of talk through the different options that there are for this. And we will see what you do in the build up to the Midnight King. I'm looking forward to the trailer that you're going to
oh.
shoot with Brad Pitt and everyone else that
Well,
you've been.
he's not returned my calls yet, but I phone him every day, and I want he will get once he's linked to my messages. I'm sure he'll be right back.
That would be there for sure. Cool. Well, we will be back with another drafting notes episode even very soon. In the meantime, you can always catch up with our regular podcast, Page One, the Writers Podcast, with interviews with great authors and screenwriters, etc. So
Yep.
please do that, and we will speak to you again soon.
In the meantime, I'm off to go and read that first page of Marco's new book. See you later.